What's going on, everyone? Welcome to Moonbuilt Garage. So I've got a question for you. Let me know in the comments below, how many of you have to play musical projects in your garage? I mean, I want to get the D100 in here. I got a bunch of things I want to do to it, so I want to get it inside. It's probably going to be up on jack stands for a little bit. So in order to do that, I had to move my plasma table project to this side of the garage. But once the D100's inside, I'm probably going to take the bed off it to make my life a little bit easier, which means I need some place to store it, which means it's probably going to go over here, which means moving the plasma table project. Let's just get the truck inside and get started. All right, so now that I got the D100 into the garage, I can start addressing some issues that I've honestly been putting off for a while. I'm going to replace the overdrive section. I've had issues with this thing running with the transmission, running warm when in overdrive. So I was fortunate enough that I was at the pick apart a couple months ago. I came across a 46RH there, so I bought the overdrive section from that. So I'm going to swap that out and put the other one on and see how it does. To do that, I have to pull a portion of the exhaust, which I think I have an exhaust leak anyway, so I'm going to try to address that. So that's why the bed's going to come off. I just think being under there, doing all that, I also got some other things I want to check out while I'm under there, so the bed's going to come off. So this is where I find out just how bad past Bill has screwed over current Bill. I have a feeling that the roll pan is going to have to come off to get the bed off. When I built my hidden hitch behind the roll pan, and with the roll pan there, I think I may have made it really difficult to get to one of the bed bolts. I won't know till I'm under there. Also, trying to start it this morning, battery was dead because it hasn't been started in a couple months. Had a fuel leak at the fuel filter on the firewall, so got to fix that. And I have a coolant leak at the lower radiator hose. This stuff never ends, and I hopefully the screen's not shaking because my hand is going nuts right now. So I'm going to put the camera down. I'm going to work on getting the bed off and see just how pissed off I'm going to get it past Bill. I'm probably going to want to kick his ass. That's pretty much standard. See you in a bit. All right, had to put you guys on a stand. My hands are shaking too much trying to hold the camera. It's just, so I got about halfway through pulling the second bolt for the bed and I realized, wait a minute, why am I doing this? Everything I want to do is under the cab. The overdrive, which I knew that's under the cab, but the exhaust section that needs to come out is under the cab. My mufflers sit just behind the cab and the stuff in front of that needs to come out. So pulling the bed at this point is just a waste of my time. So I got those bolts run back in. Pass Bill, you get a reprieve. I'll deal with you later. Let's get back on it. So exhaust is out. And once I got it out, obviously this is the driver's side seal. There's an exhaust leak. Hopefully this is the only one, which would explain, since this is right at the collector, would explain why I think I'm running rich. You can kind of smell the fuel. Even though I'm running the Holley EFI, this is right at the collector before the O2 sensor. So hopefully this is the only leak. I did find the flange here that bolts up to the collector is bent, and actually the surface that the seal sits on has a little whoop in it. So I'm going to work on straightening that out, and then I'm also going to try something to check the rest of that whole assembly to see if I got any leaks there. But with that out, I can drop the drive shaft, and then I can get up on stands and get the overdrive section out. All right, guys, overdrive is out. That was a pain in the ass. I ended up using this stand here, and I set that down right underneath the mount for the overdrive section. Ended up sitting, the overdrive was about 2 inches above the stand, loosened all the bolts out, slid it out, and just let it kind of drop onto that stand. Had a bunch of catch pans down there, so I would say I caught 99% of the fluid. So I'm rather impressed with myself on that one. So now I just got to get that overdrive section. I got to take that outside, pressure wash it, move over the speedo gear, and that one right there, that one should be ready to go back in. It'd be a little bit easier because there's no fluid in it that I got to deal with, but lifting that thing up and sliding it on, could prove to be troublesome. All right, so I got the new Overdrive pressure washed. It's just sitting there kind of drying right now. So while that's drying, you hear that fan running. Come back in here. And over here, I've got my exhaust section. It goes from the collectors, from the headers, back to the mufflers. It's got an H pipe. So I taped up all the ends. I got my little Milwaukee leaf blower going over there, blowing air in there. And I found one leak. Let me show you. So I just got a little spray bottle with some soapy water in there, sprayed down all my welds. The leaks you hear are like, I only had painter's tape, so it's doing the job. But there's one leak that I found, and it is see the bubbles? That's the only leak that I found. I sprayed down all the other welds in this tube, and yeah, that there is the only leak, and it's just a pinhole. So yeah, so I'm gonna go ahead and grind that down, hit it with a welder, and just seal that leak up, and then hopefully between that, and I still gotta fix the whooped flange. Once I get that fixed, then hopefully my exhaust leaks will be no more. All right guys, so it's the next day. I've got the overdrive section ready to go back in the truck. I've got the pinhole in the exhaust welded up. So I think I'm ready to start slapping this truck back together. I'm gonna try to get the GoPro under the truck so that you guys can watch me fumble around and enjoy my struggles. Let's get to it. All right, so hopefully you guys can see okay. I mean, it's kind of tight, a little dark. But as you can see, I'm laying here with the overdrive section sitting on my chest. So I'm gonna slide in and just lift it up and put it on the output shaft of the transmission and hopefully be able to get this thing into place. I got that rag sitting there just to, help control any drips right now. It's been draining pretty much all night, so it should be all right. I didn't empty the transmission, so it's basically full up to that point. So there's going to be a bit of a mess, hopefully not though. So let's start the struggle. I'm not looking forward to this. All right, well, it's the next day. I mean, change of clothes. That was a complete and utter shit show. I mean, I fought with that thing for way too long. I mean, that thing felt like it was hitting like a hard stop, about 1.25 inches from seating all the way in place. I even went so far as to pull it off, put the old Overdrive up there, which went right on. So obviously there's something wrong with that one. Let me take you over to the setup I have over here, and I'll try to show you what's going on. So as you can see, I've been doing a little investigating. So this side is the original Overdrive section. This side is the one that I was trying to install. So, I mean, like I said, been trying to investigate, trying to see what's going on. So what I found, and I don't know how well this is going to show up, I'm going to try. Inside the Overdrive here, let me go grab a light and come back to this. All right, so had to grab a light, a stool, and a tripod for the camera. This is not an easy shot to try to make, but down inside there you can see those splines. Now, hopefully, I'll try to zoom in while I'm editing this, but there are 2 sets of splines in there. And what happened is those became misaligned. So in order to get those splines aligned, you have to tear the entire Overdrive drum apart. Now, I can either order the tool and do it myself, or take it to a shop and have them do it. Inside that drum is like a 400 or 600 pound spring. So it can be kind of sketchy trying to take that apart on your press. I do have a 20-ton press, so it shouldn't be a problem. I just need something to make sure it's secure. So I've ordered the tool. I'm going to do it myself. I figure the cost of the tool was probably cheaper than the hourly rate to take this into a shop and have them do it. Plus, it'll give me something to show you guys. So with the Overdrive being foobarred, there's no point in really putting the exhaust in to see if I've got the leaks fixed. That's just the way things go, you know. This isn't the way I wanted to end a video. I wanted all this to be back together and working, but that's life. I mean, you know, a lot of guys here on YouTube would just say, well, you know, here's what I'm starting with. Here's the finished product. You know, I want to show you guys if I screw up, you know, if something else is screwed up, I want to show you guys everything that's involved. It's kind of why I started this. I realized I didn't show a whole lot of work in this video. I felt pulling the exhaust out, pulling the Overdrive out, a lot of that stuff was kind of redundant from other videos that I've done. But trying to get it back in and then showing you the exact fault I thought was important. So I'm going to chalk this up as a win, I guess. I appreciate you guys for watching. Hit that subscribe, hit the bell, and I'll see you probably either on the plasma table build, which I've been working on that still, or if I get the stuff in, then I'll continue with the Overdrive. Catch you on the next one.